Welcome back to the Man Cave Podcast, everybody. Today we're keeping with the theme of historical lessons led to you by Larry over here. And I, just like you, am just in the audience.
That's crazy. Do you know who Napoleon Bonaparte is?
I know Napoleon Dynamite.
Completely different, like totally different. Napoleon was a general and back in 1800s, France. So what I want to do today is kind of talk a little bit about Napoleon and let you guys decide whether or not you think he was good or evil. So, as you know, history is basically written by the victor.
Of course,
and everything we've learned about Napoleon has been, for the most part, one-sided. Mm-hmm. Like, you never really hear anything good about this guy. Mm-hmm. But he's done a lot of like amazing stuff.
So he lost?
Of course.
Okay. I'm just saying, imagine if the history was written by the loser.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, they're a bunch of bitches.
But they still in control. But nah, so one of the great things that Napoleon accomplished in his early life was that he joined the military at 16. Now, take that for what you will. You're a teenager, you join the military, might seem kind of crazy, right? But he was so proficient with weaponry and like military tactics and stuff like that. He eventually became general at the age of 24.
That's impressive.
Very impressive, right? So,
how violent do you have to be? You got to be aggressive,
like world conquering kind of violent.
At
right?
16, going in there was like, I got plans.
Yeah,
I know how to fucking kill people.
Right.
All right. I know how to ambush people.
Hey.
And you give me anything, I can kill someone with it. All
okay,
right.
John Wick.
No, for real.
Like, pencil. Facts. So at 24, he becomes general. And around the same time, right, France is ruled basically by like tyrants. Like all of Europe basically has some kind of monarchy or dictatorship, somebody in power making everybody's lives miserable.
Yeah, the good old days.
Right.
Yeah.
But people get used to stuff and they kind of just roll with it. Mm-hmm. So Napoleon sees this as an opportunity and they have like this French Revolution. So what happens is Napoleon aligns himself with some other politicians, some powerful people in France. They overthrow the government and Napoleon seizes control of France.
Okay.
Now, if let's say you're the king of Britain, or you're in charge of Britain, you're the monarch over there, you're running things.
Sure.
A neighboring country just had their people overthrow their government. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking as you're seeing that happen?
That, it's going to trickle over. They're going to want to come over here and try to overthrow me, and I'm going to have to shut that shit down quickly.
But no, that's exactly right? So, like, everybody else is seeing what's happening, and they're like, oh, shit.
Oh, you want to play?
Right. Like, hold up. Who's this dude stirring the pot? Like, everything was good. Mm-hmm. I'm eating. My kid's eating.
Y'all hungry. It's fine, though. I'm good.
Right. So, basically, they see Napoleon as a threat. Like, all right, we got to do something about this. So if I'm not mistaken, what happened is they started to try and invade France. They being the neighboring countries like Britain, Austria, Prussia, a bunch of countries in Europe.
Yeah.
To try and stop it before it got out of control, to your point. Mm-hmm. They repel the attacks, and Napoleon then goes on the offensive and he's able to conquer some of these places. So one being Spain, which nobody ever really talks about how Spain loses.
Yeah.
Right. But he forced their rulers out for a time. And in true...
They're like, ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué está
pasando? In true dickhead fashion, Napoleon instills his older brother as the king of Spain now after they've overthrown him.
He was bothering him too. Or he was like, "When the fuck you gonna put me in charge? Like, we family, we blood.
Look out for a brother." Literally,
like I could do this.
Literally. But so history doesn't write his brother as like somebody who's incompetent or whatever. Like you said, he's a very capable leader. I don't know. We weren't there, right?
Yeah.
But Napoleon and like in so many other places was unable to keep control of Spain, because what happens is you're conquering all these places, you're extending your reach. It gets harder to keep shit under control. Yeah. So Spain just kind of returns the favor along with Britain.
There was like mi casa no es su casa.
No, es su casa. So they overthrow Napoleon's army. They get them out of Spain. So at this point now, this is kind of like, I'm kind of like fast forwarding. Napoleon is kind of on the ropes. Mm-hmm. And so all of Europe basically unites against him after he goes on this crazy ass historic Michael Jordan 6-peat run. And he loses a battle. So instead of killing him for whatever, I guess they were trying to make an example of him.
Yeah, you got to.
They exile him to the island of Elba. Right. He escapes and comes back for more smoke. So this time he loses again. And then after that, they send him to another island where he dies. Like in his 50s. He was
about to escape again.
Nah.
He was like, I've done it before.
Right, exactly. But when they talk about Napoleon, like what's one of like the more common things that you hear about him?
I've never heard of him.
No, you've never.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know where the term Napoleon complex comes from?
I guess short.
Right.
Okay.
So
like 5'6".
Right. But at the time, Napoleon was supposedly 5'7", which was average height.
Yeah.
Like, so he's the same height as every other man.
So when did that become a thing?
So what happened was, because he was smacking the shit out of everybody in Europe, Britain started like this propaganda campaign.
That's so funny.
Right.
This shit don't change. Huh?
Right.
Shit really don't change.
It don't change. So they got like political cartoonists involved, and I'll show you some of the stuff, and we can post it in the on the episode. Here's one of the pictures. So like all these political cartoonists started like making him out to be like this
like
angry, like a little dude. And like, you know, it was to try and make him seem like not so powerful. So people would want to stand up to him.
Yeah.
And so that's where the term Napoleon complex comes from, supposedly, where because he got made fun of for being short early in his life, even though he was average height later on, people took that as like his motivation as to why he then wanted to go out and conquer the Western world.
Compensating.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, oh, you know, you got a little situation going on. So now you want to be a big man on campus.
The world.
Right. And then so like, if he was doing that today, women would have for sure drug him, because one of the things that he actually implemented once he seized power, and I'm going to talk about a couple of other things, was he took away women's rights, basically.
Napoleon?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
That's a good question.
Everything you're telling me, he's like, yo, stand up, you know, revolution, you know, power to the people. Right. And then he's like, except the women.
Right. Y'all gonna do what your husbands say, basically. Some of the other really cool things that he did was he's responsible. Actually, I don't know if this is cool. It's debatable.
The first part was pretty cool.
That's up to you. He's the reason why we have high schools. So he established, I believe it's called a lycée or something similar. I don't know. Somebody will correct me. You're probably closer than I am, because Spanish and French aren't too different. But he established a secondary school so that he could teach like young French people like politics and get them ready to be like leaders in France. Okay. And he also established the University of France.
So college?
Yes. But it was like, it's not like the first college ever, but it was like he created a school that would basically shape people into being like good contributing members of society.
Sure. Men.
Yes. He made it so that teachers got paid. He created curriculums for people to follow, like math, sciences. He gave the people of France freedom of religion. So he did a lot of cool shit. And then he basically, one of the things I feel like history kind of overlooks that he did was that he went into Egypt and like plundered the shit out of them. Like he stole a lot of their arts and relics and stuff. But in the process of doing that, what he was trying to do was he was trying to disrupt trade in Britain, which, you know, was one of his enemies at the time. So when he went to Egypt, he took like scientists, scholars, all these people who, linguists, like people who were like worldly and would be able to get along with somebody from another type of country to another part of the world. And he found what was called the Rosetta Stone, which is like a huge historical artifact.
That teaches people how to speak different languages, right?
Rosetta. Is it Rosetta Stone? I think it is. I think the Rosetta. Well, this is where it comes from. Is the Rosetta Stone like software or whatever that we have teaches people different languages, but the Rosetta Stone helped people learn ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. So it's basically like the same thing. It's like a play on or whatever. So then Napoleon, basically, fast forward, everything he did was undone because once he died, Britain and all the other places went into France. They undid, you know, Napoleon had set up like a not constitution. Sure, it wasn't. I don't think it was really called a constitution. It was called something else. But basically, he laid the groundwork for how he wanted the government to be. Yeah. And Britain went in and like, all right, he's dead. We're undoing all of this shit. Back to normal.
Y'all had y'all fun.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, just kind of based on those things that you've heard so far, like, do you feel like half and half, or how are you leaning more towards? Like, do you feel like he's the evil person that history paints him out to be, or is it kind of misunderstood?
No, I mean, from the way you explained it, and it, you know, I'm saying that because if I got it wrong, it is your fault.
It's my fault. Yeah, for sure.
It seemed like it was mainly positive stuff that he was aiming to do. Right. Again, take it away with his rights is a left field play that came out of almost nowhere.
Literally.
Like. Somebody hurt him.
No, facts. And there's evidence that he was constantly having conflicts with women. And so that's probably had something to do with it.
You're like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck all y'all. Y'all can't do shit now.
No, facts.
All right. But no, I mean, outside of that little
tidbit. Yeah.
It seems like he was trying to do good for the people.
Yeah. So there's like a ton of
Now you start telling me like the dark shit he used to do. He was like, well, now that you think he was doing good for the people.
So yeah, I mean, there's one thing. He actually, after he took power back in France, he reinstated slavery and the French colonies. So Haiti was one of like the French colonies, and it. People argue like it's one of the reasons why they're still struggling today is because Napoleon did that. Even though like he got rid of serfdom in France, which was basically like people were like indentured servants and shit like that. So he made the playing field even for the French people, but everybody else was like, he was like, you know what, fuck you. Like it's France against everybody. La France.
La France.
Vive la France. But then there's like a ton of like famous quotes that Napoleon has.
He was a quote machine.
Yeah. Bro was like, oh God, I'm gonna say it. Bro was like old, like he's the OG Donald Trump. Like everything he's saying, it was like people just sitting around like, that's fire. Yeah. That's fire.
You know who got fire quotes? And that like is Jalen Hurts. My man, every time he go on the podium, he just be like spitting fire. He was like, I had a what did he say? Like he had an objective before y'all all had an opinion. Right, like I had a goal before y'all had an opinion. He was like, we just got to keep the main thing the main thing.
Keep the main thing. So I feel like that's been around, but it's going to be more mainstream because he said it. Yeah. But some of the things that he's known for quoting, well, he's not known for quoting, but he's known for saying, never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake.
Okay.
Fire. Like if you don't fuck with that, I don't know. In politics, stupidity is not a handicap. Bro, do you know how much that, when I read that earlier, I was like, yeah, I resonate with that one because there are so many idiots in government and it's just like, what are we even doing? Religion is excellent stuff for keeping common people quiet. Religion is what keeps the poor from murdering the rich.
That's crazy.
And I was like, George is going to like this.
Put that on a shirt.
Yo, but it's facts.
Y'all being controlled and don't even know.
Bro, one of the things that I've learned, not like from being, a church going individual, but just learning about religion in general, is like this. It teaches this mindset of like just modesty and humility. Like, be grateful for what you have. Don't try to overreach. It's all in God's timing.
Right.
It'll come to you when it comes to you, even though it will never come to you unless you go get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is spot on.
Yeah. Fire though.
Right. And then this will be the last one that I read, even though there's like a ton of them. We can put the link in there or whatever for people. History is a set of lies agreed upon. Knowing that he got clapped up. Right.
It's like he knew it was going to happen. Right. It was like, y'all going to make shit up.
Right.
And, it's going to be called history.
And that's another like Donald Trump thing where it's like,
now that I've lost, they're going to tell some lies.
Yeah. and if I lose, it's because they cheated.
Yeah.
Basically. But Napoleon had a lot of like influences from Rome, and then like the Roman culture is kind of like instilled like the stoicism. I believe that like men are supposed to be like good postured and mild mannered and just
don't have a podcast.
Yeah, like unless it's talking about like how to be better men.
Yeah,
like that kind of shit. So that's why he named himself emperor when he took power. And the Roman culture is really fascinating. So I feel like that should be one of the things that we touch on at some point. Even I feel like I'm going to have to do like a month's worth of research just to make sure I'm not getting dragged in the comment section.
Because motherfuckers love the Roman Empire.
Yeah, facts.
They're going to be chewing your ass out if you get this shit wrong.
No, facts. And then the last thing I kind of want to touch on before we kind of like unpack everything is that Napoleon instilled what was called the Napoleon Codes. And these are some like just like the key points when he was like reshaping the law. So he established equality before the law, meaning like all people were equal.
But how is that so if he reinstated slavery?
Because it would only apply to France. And then even that was bullshit because he was a dictator.
Okay.
All right. Like he had a cabinet or whatever. He had like advisors, but he made the final decision no matter what. Right. So it's one of those things where it's like,
all right, it is.
I'm not going to practice what I preach. He abolished all privileges based on birth. So everybody had a fresh slate. Mm-hmm. He granted the right to property to French citizens, simplified administrative divisions. He abolished the abolished the feudal system and freed peasants from serfdom, like I already mentioned earlier. He removed restrictions on guilds in towns and improved transport and communications. So, bro was in fact a revolutionary, but I feel like the water is very murky.
Yeah.
Like aside from the hundreds of thousands of people he killed, like history is one of those funny things where it's like everything seems good when you're doing it until somebody else's perspective enters the chat. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, you saved the people from the burning building, but you dropped the old lady out the window and she broke her head.
Yeah.
like you can't win or lose. And so you just kind of got to live your life how you want to because somebody else is going to write about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it seems like I said he was trying to do some shit.
Right.
He just made some major missteps along the way.
Major missteps.
But hey, here's the thing: if you doing something and the government wants to stop you, you probably doing the right thing.
Be careful with that, bro. Because
start a revolution now.
January 6th,
the Man Cave Revolution.
Right. Yeah, that would be cool though. Like, to have been like a fly on the wall watching that all happen
on January 6th or
no, what, bro? I watched that happen, I
was like, we saw it.
Yeah, I chose not to partake.
You mean the whole Napoleon?
Like seeing this young dude. Like, can you imagine being in the military at 16?
So what is the average rate like for that like age? I mean, So 16-year-old comes in and like a 24-year-old, 25-year-old is like, look at this fucking kid coming in here thinking he about to do what we doing.
Yeah.
And then in like 8 years, he's calling the shots.
Top of the rank. Yeah. That's wild as fuck. I don't think in like the modern American military, you can achieve such a high rank without like doing extraordinary shit in so little time. Like that's why people have to serve for lifetimes before they reach like, levels of the White House and shit. Like
Unless you, like you said, out here just
extraordinary. You got 150 kills.
Like, confirmed
kills. Yeah. Nah, bro. Like, cause even there's people who've received like Purple Hearts and like these high ranking medals who we never talk about. We never hear about because they're just kind of like going along with the flow.
Yeah. But this is what I mean. This is what I meant like a few weeks ago when I was talking about like history and how like there was always somebody doing something that's going to be viewed as like, that was kind of impressive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we don't hear that no more. We don't got impressive shit going down no more. Nobody's like, yo, he did this at the age of 4. Right. And at the age of 10, he was doing this. Like,
and part of, it's funny you said that because a part of me wonders like, is that our fault? Like, because we now live longer, are we now also like, let a kid be kid, like let a kid be a kid?
I guess where it's not like hurry up and just grow up because you don't have much to live. Like, you're gonna die at 35.
Right.
You know what I mean? Get what you need to get done at 12.
Real shit. But also like, what's the drawback from pushing somebody to be great at a young age that they don't get to play with toys? Like what the fuck are you losing?
You don't have a childhood.
Right. Like in hindsight, I wouldn't have mind not getting to play video games for 12 hours straight on a fucking Saturday. Like sure. Like I learned how to read and learned some big ass
whenever
words,
you hear stories of like, even like people now that have accomplished things, right? They're always like, oh, well, I was a very strict parent, right? There was like, especially like, let's say like Kobe or like LeBron, like they were training to be great at a young age.
From birth, basically.
So it's like, if you want to be great, you do have to do it very early on. But very rarely do we hear somebody be great early on. Like they have to kind of build and take the steps forward to be the greatness that they become.
And also like we downplay it, I think. Like you'll see an article about a child graduating college at like 15 or something. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And you'll right past that shit.
I'll just be like, you already got that debt, huh? 15 with fucking $80,000 in debt.
Oh my God.
Good on you, sir.
Oh my God. No, that's crazy. That's a crazy way to look at it, but that's valid. Yeah, for sure. That is something that I think I want to try and instill in my kid. Is like,
they can be like, Dad. You'd be like, Father. You call me father.
Sir.
Sir,
Dad. Like from a young age, I want to have them doing like a bunch of stuff, like music, art, whatever, sports, and see what sticks. And then like whatever they like fall in love with, I want to try and help push them to be great.
Yeah. That's the plan, I think, for us too, is like, let them try different shit and whatever they seem more passionate for, kind of hone in on that.
Right.
And let them like not let it fade away, because like if you are passionate and you start at this young age, you'll be great at it when you're old enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a good enough plan.
I mean, because it's obvious
on paper, it makes sense.
Like it's obvious. Like if you look at anybody who was like written in history as being a great person because XYZ, they found their thing early. Mm-hmm. Like you just said, LeBron and Kobe. Look, Kobe was going to basketball practice with his dad when he was like 5.
Yeah.
LeBron, since he was in high school, was being called the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like that's outrageous. Basically, people are saying like you're God of basketball. The chosen one? What?
Just imagine growing up with that kind of name. I'd be doing some nasty shit.
Bro.
Like, I am the chosen one.
Right.
All right.
Use 2 hands.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? I might grow up and get my son in the sport. You know what I mean?
Come on, bro. Like legit doing legendary shit and we take it for granted. Like, and then Napoleon, like he found his thing. Like it was murder, sure, but he excelled and he doubled down.
And he did attempt to use that
to make
help,
change.
You know, his people. We'll keep it in the, you know,
Right.
his pocket of people.
Right. And if you weren't his people, he was going to get you to be there by hook or crook. Right.
But yeah, no, that I liked it.
There's actually a movie, Napoleon, with Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm now like after learning more about it, I'm interested to see how they've portrayed him.
Watch it and let me know. I'm not watching that.
You don't like Joaquin?
It's a toss up for him.
Okay. But you liked him in Joker.
I liked him in Joker. I liked him in Gladiator. Really the only movies that I really feel like he's in.
Damn, that was Joaquin Phoenix playing the guy who he was the emperor.
Yeah.
And he stabbed Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Maximus.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just realizing that he looked so different.
He was younger. It was a movie came out in 2000.
Damn.
But yeah, so watch it. Let me know. I think it's on like Apple TV. I think I saw it on there.
So you know where it is and you still don't want to watch it. No. That's crazy.
This is like, I feel like it's going to be boring.
Yeah.
Like his story seems dope, but it's like, I don't have confidence.
It's like that they can make it translate on screen.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of The Count of Monte Cristo?
I've heard of it, never seen it.
Okay. So I think there's like 3 versions. Let me see what year the one came out that I really liked, because they actually make mention of Napoleon, and it's like, unless you know the history, you'll gloss over but it's such like an underlying theme. I feel like it's kind of important. Monte Cristo.
But so here's my question: is
2002.
We know that the Napoleon complex was created by the government to devalue, you know, what he was doing, so that we can see him as not a threat, right? Why do we still willingly use the phrase if we know that it's not even accurate?
It's ignorance, like the Uncle Tom thing. Like people will call a black person Uncle Tom, even though from history, Uncle Tom was somebody who was for black people and for black rights. But the government basically wanted, well, not the
they rewrote the story.
White people wanted to make him out to be the villain. So it was like, oh, you're Uncle Tom.
All right. I mean, I'm going to keep using the phrase Napoleon complex. I've never really said it.
But now
it's in the, you know.
It's in the wheelhouse. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. As usual, please like, comment, and subscribe, because
Larry's kid.
I am so tired of asking. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah. Y'all are killing me. Seriously killing me. I'm like on my deathbed at this point.
Yeah. So please like and subscribe to save Larry's life.
Yes, because 70% of the people who watch the show aren't subscribed, which is outrageous.
Yeah. I don't know what, I mean, do you spend time on YouTube?
Yes.
And every channel that you kind of like watch, do you hit subscribe?
If I watch regularly, yeah. Even if I like watched it one time and I really enjoyed it, I'm like, man, you know what? Because it takes a lot of work to make good shit on YouTube. So I'm like, it doesn't cost me anything to subscribe. Yeah, no, it's true. But it's so weird to hit the subscribe button. You feel like you're giving that person like acknowledgement. You know what I mean? That's like, not weird. It's okay to say somebody's doing well, George. But you know, like when I was doing my movie thing, right? And I stumbled upon somebody else that was also doing like movies and like games reviews and shit like that. And I saw one video. I was like, that was pretty good. I didn't hit subscribe, right? And then it came me like another recommendation of another one of his videos, and I like clicked it. Also pretty good. And then I was like, all right, I'll fucking subscribe. I don't know what that thought process is. He had to earn your subscription. Yeah. Fair enough. So we hope that we've earned your subscription and your trust. And we will see you guys next week.